In this video, let's look into Microsoft Foundry. Now, what is Microsoft Foundry? Microsoft Foundry is basically a platform designed for building, deploying, and managing AI based applications and agents. It is formerly known as Azure AI Foundry, and you can navigate to Microsoft Foundry in Azure portal using ai.azure.com. Basically, it's a unified platform as a service offering from Microsoft. So it's a PaaS service. It combines advanced AI tools and infrastructure to facilitate development of enterprise grade AI applications. It streamlines the entire lifecycle of AI development. Microsoft Foundry integrates natively with Agent 365. So basically, it's a platform for building, deploying, and managing AI applications and agents. Now, the concept within Foundry is once you log into Foundry, you get an option to create a project. Now, the project can be a Foundry project, hub based project. Once you create a project, you have an option to select the model, fine tune the model, configure the model, and then deploy the model post testing. Basically, Microsoft Foundry enables the developers to focus on building apps rather than managing the infrastructure. So, the infrastructure is already taken care of. You just need to start building the solution with your capability. There are different models that are available to pick and choose from, not only specific to Microsoft, but then you have an Anthropic model, you have Meta model, you have DeepSeek model, and plus many other providers models as well. So you can explore, build, test, and deploy using the modern AI tools and machine language models. It basically unifies the agents, models, and tools under a single management group. So you did not go into different organizations' models like Anthropic or Meta or DeepSeek. Everything will be in one specific interface, and then you will be able to perform various operations. Now, Foundry project is where you do most of the dev work. So, project basically acts as a secure unit of isolation and collaboration. It will provide you a file storage, the search index, and the conversation history. And plus, you can do various other things like monitor the agent, trace the agent, the observability features. All this can be configured in Microsoft Foundry. Now, let me show you one diagram over here. So, basically, there's a concept of hub based project and a Foundry project. So, hub as a gateway to multiple services. So, you have a hub and you have different SDKs. Now, as I mentioned to you, there is a concept of project. So, Hub has multiple projects assigned to it. Then we have Azure OpenAI related modules, which you can consume for extending your agent. You can use AI based services. You can use AI search. You can use the storage. You can use the key vault. So, what happens when you create a hub and a project within Microsoft Azure is like it creates multiple components. If you see Foundry as a service, now Foundry has its own SDK, Azure OpenAI has its own SDK. So there's a clear demarcation. Azure OpenAI SDK communicates with Azure OpenAI API. Foundry SDK communicates with Foundry API. So this entire block is a Foundry resource. And here there is a concept of connecting to different services. So if you have a connection to SharePoint for storage, Fabric or search, knowledge, uh, AI search, storage, functions, etc., you have an option to connect to different tools and knowledge. So optionally extend with the Azure ecosystem and non-Azure tool. So when you compare hub-based projects with a Foundry project, as you see over here, Hub has that separate components being created for project Azure OpenAI, AI Foundry, AI search, storage, and keyword. Here, it's all encapsulated within one block, and then you have a demarcation that you can connect to external services. What are the capabilities of Azure or Microsoft Foundry? You can deploy language models from Microsoft, Meta, OpenAI, many more. You can test deploy models using Playground. So once the model is deployed, you can test using playground. You can compare the model in that playground. You can create, deploy, test agents with Azure AI agent service, and also you can get the sample code for the deployed model. So model store, fine tune models, tracing, monitoring, evaluations, etc. Now the new interface is a bit different compared to the previous one. Now it is called as Microsoft Foundry, and it looks similar to kind of like a AI based solution. So here you get an introductory screen. You have an option to start building agent workflows, etc. And you get a project endpoint, project API key at that single place itself. If you turn on the switch, you get the new Foundry interface. You can discover, build, and operate on the Microsoft Foundry solution. Now, VS Code extension. So there is a separate VS Code extension. So you can utilize that if you want to operate everything using the VS Code. So you install this extension, connect to your Microsoft uh, Azure tenant, and then you will be able to perform all the operations like creating an agent, deploying an agent, creating a declarative agent, creating a hosted agent, creating a local agent. So everything can be done within this particular VS Code. I've already covered this in a separate video. So that's it all about Microsoft Foundry. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go into Microsoft Foundry. So for that, just type in ai.azure.com. If you're connected to your Azure portal, it will take you to that interface. Now, this interface will allow you to start performing action. This is not only specific to creation of an agent, but then there are other components as well. So let's look into how this is all configured. As you see over here, this is in preview. This is a project selector. So as you see over here, this is the agent basically. So I have created this A1 agent. So I'm in the context of AI agent. I can search over here. It's already turned on. If it is turned off, then it will take you to the old interface. You can start building. Now here you get multiple options. You create an agent, you create a workflow, and many more. This is the important thing: project endpoint, project API key, and which project region does this particular agent belongs to. And then some more information in terms of cart, like what are the new arrivals. And also here you will see your recent work. Coding quick start. So here you can, before you build your agent using the sample code below, explore the API. So you get to see and choose the Python code over here. You can directly open this code for the web. You can view the API doc. So that's a basically scaffolding. Then we have an option in C sharp as well. So you get to see different C sharp. And then here in environment variable, just uh, you can copy the different environment variables. There are different environment variable for subscription ID, existing project, etc. So I've already connected this to a project, and that's why you see all this information. But then here it will give you that option as well. So you can copy the code, you can copy the environment variable. What you can start building, you can start building, creating an agent, design workflow, and browse the model. Now in AI agent, A1 agent, which you see over here, you have an option to view all the projects. Now I've already created this project, that's why it's in this context, but you can create a new project. Let's call this as Project London. We have an option. It will create a Foundry resource, Project London resource. We have an option to select the region. I'll pick up East US to resource group. I've already created this resource group, but you have an option to create a new resource group and the subscription. Once all good, you can just click on save. Now it says project name must contain only lowercase letters, numbers, and hyphen. So let me type in Project London, create, and now it will start provisioning the project. Once the project is provisioned, then you can perform various other operations within a project. So that's basically the container, which I just explained to you in the PowerPoint presentation about the project. So let it get created. So we'll revisit this tab. Let me go into the other tab over here, and now from here I'll say start building, create an agent. So if I click on create agent, so I'm in the context of this. So I have an option to create an agent. Now let me call this as December agent, create. And then this will start creating an agent. Now remember, like in this tab, we have started creating a project. It is already creating this project, but I went into this particular tab and now I've created an agent, which is called as a December agent. Now, in December agent, the agent which you have created, let's explore this particular window. So we have on the left hand side agents, workflows, models, fine tune, tools, knowledge, data, evaluation, guardrail. This area is specific to agent and its configuration. Here, it will show you the chat YAML code, configuration parameters, and then once you are ready, preview and publish. And this is like an agent interface. So you can chat with the agent on the fly. Now you can just put whatever instructions you want, like you are an agent which answers question about aircraft engineering only. So I've provided some instruction. You have an option to select the model. So I've got GPT-4o, GPT-4o Sydney, GPT 4.1, 4.1 mini popular models. I can browse through the models. Now, why these two models are there? Because I've already deployed this model. So you need to do that beforehand. Now, in your case, you may not find anything over here if you're starting from scratch. You can browse more models. So let's go into the more models, see the different models. So I got Claude, I got Sonnet, I got Opus 4.5, 4.1, I've got Grok, GPT 5.1, DeepSeek, etc. I can select from a various collection directly from Azure or the Foundry Labs. Capabilities, source, what are the inferences, like whether it's a chat completion or a message or response, or whether I can fine tune that, what are the fine tuning method, reinforcement, supervision, direct preference optimization. So I can even do that. I can sort by created time as well, so that I get the latest model. Now that's why Cloud Opus 4.5 is at the top. Then we have model router, and we can select a model. Then here we have parameters. Now I can set the temperature, I can set the top P if you want to see the information what it is. So this is similar to the temperature, but this is lowering P will narrow the model's token selection to likelier token. So that's a slight subtle difference between temperature and top P. Text format, whether you want text, JSON object or JSON schema, so you can configure that. Then instructions is good. Tools, I can add a tool. I can either upload a file, add as a knowledge, or just add file search, Azure AI search, web search, grounding with Bing, SharePoint, browser automation, Fabric, code interpreter. I get to see a lot of catalog over here. I can search by the type, provider, category, registry. So there's a huge list over here. You can click on next and then it will load another set of page. You can even get an Microsoft Learn MCP, or you select a custom Open API tool, MCP, or agent to agent. Just cancel this off. Knowledge, I can add a knowledge base for grounding, connect to either a Foundry IQ, which is a Foundry IQ knowledge, or you set up a data source via tools, and then you can pick up the tools. Memory, agent has its own memory, so you can auto create the memory store. You turn this on, this agent will be able to add to and modify to the store. Scope, then the guardrails, what are the guardrails you want to set, so you can manage the guardrail, you can assign a new guardrail or create a new one. But before that, you need to save the agent. So you have an option to assign a new guardrail. So Microsoft default and default v2. So you get different options, like for v2 we have jailbreak, we have content safety, we have protected materials. So you can view what are the policies which has been set within this guardrail and assign it. I'll just cancel this off. And then on the right hand side you will see the YAML code. You can see the code. As I shown you before, you can see the environment variables. You can copy the environment variable directly, or you can open this in VS Code for web and copy. It's a simple placeholder for this particular agent. It has already been configured. It has picked up the agent name, project endpoint, etc. So let me close this. Yeah. And once you're done with it, you can preview the agent. You can view the sample code or you can preview the agent. Now, if you continue without saving, your current agent configuration will be lost. So I need to save this agent first. So in order to save this, I'll just click on save and then the agent will be saved. Once the agent is saved, you can go ahead and preview the agent. So I'll go ahead and preview the agent. And then this is the agent which we have just created. So we haven't added anything. Now, here I can see different versions. So I've created, saved three different versions. So I can see this version. I can see the version history. So if I click on show all version history, I'll be able to see the version history. Then I will be able to delete this version. So that's also an option. Or I can compare the version. So if I want to compare V3 and V2, I can compare it side by side. Now I haven't made any change. That's why it doesn't really make sense. But you have an option to compare V3 with V1, V2, whatever version you have. So that's a nice bit of feature set over there. Once you're done with it, you go ahead and publish the agent. So either you can publish to Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot. Over here, you publish it directly. Now, within the agent interface, there are three different important things to note. There's a traces, there's a monitor, and there's an evaluation. So if you go into the traces, you'll be able to chat with an agent. There's currently no runs or traces displayed, so it will show you the completed and failed operation. I purposefully failed couple of operations so that I can find that in the traces. So you can do that experimentation. You can monitor the various agents. So there's an operational metrics, evaluation, scheduled evaluation. So once you start building an agent, you get this capability. Now, three times I've run the agent. One time it started, one time it failed. This is a bit like kind of a stats which will allow you to see how the agent is faring. And then evaluation. So you can have an automatic evaluation or a human evaluation, and then you can start creating the evaluation. Here you can specify the scoring method, like you can add the groundedness, fluency, your own input question. Then the scoring method, what is your level of agreement with this response? Maybe in 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. How do you rate the quality of this response? So this is how you can create that human evaluation template, and then you can test it against your agent output. So that's it, folks. This is all about Microsoft Foundry. Thanks for watching.